No, baby, that's not a tumor. It's Film Junk. It's Filmshake, the 90s movies podcast. I'm Jordan.
And this is Nick.
And this is episode 99. Nick, we're at 99. We're almost at 100. Can you believe it?
It's so crazy. And there are other shows that they're like, this is our 100th episode. And they've been around for like 100 weeks because they're like weekly. No, not us. We've been around for over 6 years, Jordan. And we're almost to our 100th episode.
Slow and steady wins the race.
That's right.
Just keep on chugging.
Yeah.
Ever so steady.
That's right. Keep on chugging.
Just like the tumor? What?
Yeah, that's where I was about to go. I was about to make I was about to make it a sex thing, about a slow and steady rhythm,
Of course you were. You've just been a dirty old man lately, Nick.
Yeah, make it pleasurable for both parties. That's what Filmshake does. We're not just like, I need to get to 100 episodes. I don't care about you, the listener. I'm done. Show's over.
I'm done. Yeah.
That's not how we are. We just keep going and going. And you might be like, okay, well, I got what I needed from that. We're like, no. Filmshake just keeps going.
No, we're going to give you some more.
Sorry about that.
Sorry about that. Well, of course, this year we're talking all 1990 movies for our 90s podcast. And for our main pick today, we have my pick, a lovely Arnold Schwarzenegger flick from 90, and that would be Kindergarten Cop. So this brings us back to Arnie for the first time in a while. We covered him last year for End of Days, and before that he wasn't on the show for a long time when we covered Total Recall, another 1990 flick, as like one of our early episodes.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. We covered his last movie of the 90s last year, and this year we're covering his second movie of the 90s. We've gone all the way back to the beginning of the decade, and Total Recall was his first movie of the 90s. So we've covered his first and his last. We still have all the middle to cover, Jordan, which I'm so psyched about. 6 years, and there's still so much left for us to do. If I don't die.
We have so much Arnold. Are you going to die? Like, we're hoping not.
That's going to keep me going. I'm going to be like, I feel something in my brain. Is it another stroke? No, I got more Arnie to cover.
I need to talk more, Arnold.
That's right. Get back in there.
Get back in there, brain. But yeah, so before we get into that, we have our punishment film, quote unquote. So we do a trivia battle at the end of every show. Whoever loses the trivia battle is punished with a movie to watch. Could be terrible, could be not. I decided to go with another cop movie, being Maniac Cop 2, which is also from 1990. So we're trying to stick to our punishment films being from the same year. So, Nick, I have never seen Maniac Cop 1. Did you happen to watch the first movie for the show?
I did not watch Maniac Cop 1. And when I watched the second one, I thought, no recap. I'm not going to read any Wikipedia entry of Maniac Cop 1. I just want to see how the movie treats me as a newcomer.
You have the right to remain silent.
He's still alive.
Forever. Again.
You can't kill the dead.
Why has this been kept from the public and the press?
When this leaks out, people are not going to want to pick up the phone and dial 911. We're looking at a bloodbath here. Well, let's hope you're serious, fellow.
Maniac Cop 2. You'll be screaming blue murder.
Well, it is interesting because, I was watching the VHS that I tracked down of Maniac Cop 2, and then, it just starts with the ending of the first movie, apparently. You just, no credits, no nothing. You're just watching trailers, and then all of a sudden, you're just, in a movie, and you're like, wait, what's happening? And it's, the Maniac Cop being killed at the end of the first movie, and he drives off a pier in a boat, and he gets a pole shoved through him or something. And then you're like, okay, all right, that was the end of that thing, whatever that was. And then credits roll, Maniac, the opening credits come up, Maniac Cop 2, and then you're just in this world. So that was kind of startling, and hadn't seen an opener like that in quite a while.
Yeah, it was nuts. And the first thing I thought watching it was, man, is this humming noise ever going to go away? I watched the movie on Tubi. Jordan, you watched it on its home, VHS. This was a direct-to-VHS film. Did you have a bunch of noise in the background of this film, or was it just the Tubi print?
I guess it was just Tubi. I don't recall hearing any sort of noise.
Man, Tubi usually is the best streaming service, but their print of Maniac Cop 2, not great, Jordan. Not the best print of that film available.
They should have put more energy into that.
That's right. What are you doing, Tubi? Yeah, and I had no idea what was going on. Like you said, they just throw you into this movie, and they tout Bruce Campbell as being in the film, you know, as the star, because I guess he started in the last one. And he dies, spoiler alert, 17 minutes into this film. I guess I should say he, spoiler alert, dies. I said that in the wrong order there, sorry. But it's freaking Maniac Cop 2 from 1990. So
Right. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry for ruining it for you. But yeah, Bruce Campbell dies very early in this film. I was quite shocked and kind of sad that he gets like a knife, like this Maniac Cop. Basically like this cop that has come back to life and he's been wronged, so he comes back to like kill cops. And because the cops have wronged him, you know, the system has wronged him, so he's like this zombie cop killing all these cops. And he has this baton, like, you know, like a billy club, that like he pulls off the top part, which is the sheath, and it's a knife, like a big long dagger, and he stabs Bruce Campbell through the neck, which is pretty wild.
he has 3 minutes of screen time. 3 minutes.
Who's that? Bruce Campbell?
Yes, that's it. Apparently, he takes it really personally if you bring it up, too. If you're like, hey, you know, you've done some things in your career, but I really want to talk about Maniac Cop 2. Apparently, like, it's just a given that he'll lose it on you, good-naturedly.
Oh, no. Was he just so mad that he got cut out or something?
I just think he doesn't like to think about this movie.
Yeah. Maybe, yeah. You know, I went in, I remember I watched the trailer. I was trying to decide on what punishment to pick, and this looked really fun. And I'd say it's got some really fun parts and, you know, stand out, like, you know, schlocky gore and stuff. But there's parts of it that felt like way too serious for what I thought I was getting into. Like, there's kind of like a dour tone at parts, and they're like this kind of slow investigation of like what's happening. You've got Robert Davey as one of the cops here, you know, who's great. He's a favorite. You got Michael Lerner in there. You've got a lot of cool like character actors and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. How did you feel about it overall? Like, did you get that same kind of dour tone at parts? It felt like a little too serious for what it was.
Yeah, I mean, I love Robert Davey. I have since I watched The Goonies when I was a kid, and you know, one of his parents is Sicilian too, so I always love that about him. But he has this badass introduction where he's wearing like this really cool coat. You know, we're changing over from the 80s to the 90s, and you really get that gritty feel here that you got at the start of the decade, which was carried over from the end of the 80s. And he's got like this big pistol, and he looks all badass. And he really doesn't do much after that. Even though he's the star of the movie. I don't know. The Maniac Cop kind of drives the action, and he's kind of one step behind the whole time. And it's not great. I know this is like a cult film. I did enjoy a lot of parts though, Jordan, but it's like, well, that was awesome. And then it's just like, then it's a drag. Then there'll be another part and be like, that part's awesome. Like there's a part where I think it's Claudia Christian is the actress's name. She is handcuffed to a steering wheel of a car that's put in neutral and then pushed down a hill. And then just defying belief, this damn car goes like 1,000 miles down the highway without like ever stopping.
Yeah, that was a pretty awesome segment. That was, you know, a cool little set piece.
It was awesome. No, like logically it was stupid, I'm saying, but like on an entertainment level, it was incredible. And it was an incredible stunt too. It was amazing. Yeah.
Great stunt. Yeah, great stuff there. But yeah, like you said, a lot of it does drag, so I don't know. Take what you can get, I guess.
Yeah, there are more moments like that are pretty awesome. There are more badass parts. And if you just like slasher parts, I mean, really this is like at its heart, this is a slasher movie with the Maniac Cop as the slasher killer. You know what's nuts too is Claudia Christian was actually 3 months pregnant and didn't tell anyone. And I think that that stunt was so intense, she lost the baby.
Oh,
and
damn.
she couldn't sue the production because they didn't know she was pregnant. I don't think they would have made her do that had they known. Because it is an insane stunt, and the fact that she did it herself, which I guess makes sense since this movie costs like $10 to make.
Right. No, yeah, that is insane that she did that herself, because that's definitely the most wild, like, standout stunt of the movie. I guess other than, like, there's a part at the end that I love where the Maniac Cop is, like, going into a prison. I forget even why, but he's, like, fighting people in the prison, and then they get on the intercom, and they're like, we absolve you. We were really the villains. Like, the cops are gonna, like, come out and, you know, say that they were the bad guys all along. So then, like, the Maniac Cop, who has, like, this crazy serial killer buddy that he's, like, tagging along with, and they get into a fight and, like, crash through the wall of the prison, which is just, like, cinder blocks. Like, they just bust through this cinder block wall somehow, and then they, like, fall off of the building, like, on fire. And it's just so over the top and ridiculous. It's great.
Yeah, there's a good bit of insane stunts, and that serial killer is played by Leo Rossi, who's famous as Bud from Halloween 2. He was the EMT.
Okay.
Yeah, the cop, the basic logic is something bad, okay, he's gonna do that. Are those people criminals? Then he likes them. Are those cops? Then he does not like them.
Right.
And the plot logic kind of reminds me of, like, if you're at the summer camp and you don't know who's in charge, and these edicts keep coming down and you don't know where they're coming from, where it's like, all right, we're going to go over here now. And now we're all going to climb on this rope, and then we're going to jump off the rope into the lake, and then we're all going to roll down this hill. Like, the movie's logic is kind of like that. Like,
it just keeps going into random places.
They're like, well, now he's going to go to this prison, and he's going to set all the inmates free and try to make an army of evil inmates that will be serial killers at his side. And it's like, wait, how do you know this? How does anyone know this? He doesn't talk. That makes no sense.
Right.
None of you should know anything. Everyone should be like, oh my God, we don't know what this guy wants. He doesn't speak.
Well, and I feel like they bring in the serial killer, the Rossi guy, to facilitate some of that, where he's like, oh, I'll help you out. And, you know, like, oh, we can get in the prison. We can make an army of prisoners and take over the city. And it's just like, it feels so, like, awkward and weird for a slasher. It definitely feels like a sequel where they're like, oh, we got to add, like, another bad guy in here. And there's, like, this whole scene of him breaking in, like, attacking this prostitute, and he's going to these strip clubs and, like, leering at the women,
and you
then,
get
like,
your boobs there, like, to put this, like, fully in the straight to video trash camp. There's lots of stripper boobs in here.
Stripper boobs.
They
all
are
over.
nice boobs. They're not gross boobs. Like,
they're not gross.
Not that there are gross boobs. They're all boobs are wonderful, but I mean, like, it's like they spent their money on these strippers. Most of the budget went to the strippers.
All the money went to the strippers. We're just going to pay you to strip and we'll film you, lady. Yeah,
that's right. But yeah, he doesn't really have much agency. He just kind of does what the serial killer guy tells him, which isn't very compelling.
Well, at times it feels like he's leading the show and, like, the Maniac Cop is just, like, following him.
Yeah, he being the Theo Rossi character.
Yeah, like, that feels weird where you're just, like, this secondary, like, weird, just offbeat serial killer guy is now, like, kind of in charge, or, like, has some say in what's going on, and you're just like, but the Maniac Cop's supposed to be, like, the big bad, and that just feels weird. I don't know. Like, him having a sidekick, or almost being a sidekick to this, or, like, being a buddy duo kind of thing. I'm like, I don't know about that. That just doesn't quite work in that vein of slasher killer. You know, like, they're always solitary. Like, Freddy's always by himself in my mind. Jason's always by himself, you know. Like, having a duo is weird.
You know, it's funny. This actually reminded me of a very recent film, and any horror fans listening to this episode will guess what I'm about to say. That's 2022's Halloween Ends, which actually has a very similar plot concept, and a lot of people hated that film. Basically, the Theo Rossi character here is like the Corey character from that film, where it's the same kind of thing, Jordan. It's like you have kind of dual killers there, where he's doing, like, a lot of the Michael Myers, heavy lifting, and a lot of people didn't like that. I thought the movie was okay. I didn't think it would. That whole David Gordon Green Halloween trilogy is just, it's all right. I like it better than the Rob Zombie duo, which I really, as someone who's not a fan of nihilism, I don't like those movies. And I am digressing, Jordan. I'm going to use your "we digress" line. All I have to say,
we digress.
There were parts of this I liked. I'll give it a 5 out of 10 because the parts I was into the movie, I was really into it. And I actually kind of like that dour vibe that the movie hits upon.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 1990 straight-to-video movie in a good way, that way. Like, you could watch it and pinpoint the era it was made, for sure. This is the movie that you went to the VHS store in 1990 and said, I want straight-to-video schlock, and this was there. Right. And you picked this up and watched it, and it delivers on that. But it's not a very good movie. I think I'd give it I'd probably give it a 5 out of 10, which isn't like a horrible score, not a great score, probably better than the movie deserves, but at the same time, probably lower than its IMDb score, if I'm guessing.
Yeah, I would be around there, I guess. I'd give it like a 2.5 out of 5. Like, it had great parts to it, but yeah, overall wasn't as engaging and schlocky as I wanted it to be. I just wanted it to be like a thrill ride, from start to finish. But yeah, it had to drag a lot in parts, but it is what it is. It was fun. It was, I'm glad I watched it overall.
Yeah, me too. I think if the Maniac Cop had a little more agency, and if Robert Davi got to be a little more of a badass, because he looks super cool. And the few moments where he gets to be badass, he is badass, but he's generally just kind of like a camper at the camp I mentioned, where he's like, the Maniac Cop's doing what now? What's happening?
Right, what's happening? Let's go over here.
Yeah.
See if we can catch him. Yeah.
Which is lame.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's got a 5.9 on IMDb, Jordan, so almost a 6. Still in that 5 range, so most of the world agrees with us.
Well, I'm guessing that most of the world might have better feelings about our next movie. That's going from Maniac Cop to Kindergarten Cop.
Yes, 2 movies with cop in the title, both from 1990.
So clever.
You're a genius,
I've outdone
Jordan.
myself. I'm a genius. Yes.
And you have both of these on VHS.
I do. They're sitting at me. I'm collecting all the VHS for the movies that we cover. So I'm very curious to see what your picks are going to be coming up, if I'm going to have to buy more VHS tapes or if I already might have them in my collection. We shall see. But yeah, Kindergarten Cop, I think you had mentioned this was maybe the first Arnold film that you had seen as a kid.
I think it is the first Arnold movie I saw because I was born at the very start of the 80s, so I was too young to watch Commando or the first Terminator when they came out. Those were adult films. I may have seen Twins, but I don't know, Twins not highly memorable. I remember Danny DeVito more from Romancing the Stone and Jewel of the Nile as a kid, so I'm not even sure if I saw Twins, but I definitely remember watching Kindergarten Cop. This was, if you're into the lore of Filmshake, I watched this at Joe's house because to me I saw Schwarzenegger and I was like, oh man, like I'm not supposed to watch his movies. These are like adult movies. Because, Joe's house is where I went to watch like Jaws 2 or Rambo 2 or, stuff I'm not supposed to watch at my house. And I thought I was getting away with something watching Kindergarten Cop until I got about 20 minutes in and was like, where's like all the killing and like the cussing and the boobs and stuff? Like, that's just not happening. But I still enjoyed the movie.
Were you expecting that in a film titled Kindergarten Cop?
I didn't know it was Kindergarten Cop. I just saw it was Schwarzenegger. Because, it's not like now where you hit the menu button on your TV remote and it tells you what movie you're watching. You don't know what the hell it is.
Okay, so you didn't even know the title.
No, it was like 1990 or 1991. I had no idea what it was. I just saw Schwarzenegger and I was like, ooh, something I'm not supposed to watch. Sweet.
Yeah. I mean, if you missed the title, I can totally see that. And you missed the cheesy, like, crayon font that it opens with. The whole first 20 minutes of this movie is like a Terminator film where Schwarzenegger looks really haggard. He's got like this gruff beard. He's got these cool sunglasses on. He's got the trench coat. He kind of looks like Reese from Terminator, more so than what who his character looked like. Carrying around a shotgun, and he's chasing this bad guy through the mall. And then like later he's like breaking up this drug den and just blowing stuff away and shooting people, and it's ridiculous. You're just like, okay, like we're in another Arnie action movie, and then it flips and you're like in a kid's movie, and you're just like, wait, what? This is wild.
Yeah, you know what the tell is that I noticed, because I watched Commando recently and I hadn't watched it in a long time. Squibs. In this movie, when he shoots at people in these opening scenes, they just dive out of the way.
Right.
Stuff gets exploded by the impact of the bullets, but no one really gets hit, except...
Yeah.
Does Arnie shoot anyone before the end? I don't think he actually makes contact with anyone with a bullet until we get near the end of the film.
I don't think so. We do get the bad guy shooting like a drug head in like the mall warehouse or whatever at the very beginning. So we do get that death.
Yeah, and there is a squib there. That is a pretty brutal, quick death.
Yeah. I like when he's breaking up the drug den and he like shoots this couch with the shotgun and the couch flies back like 20 feet, like spins around.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's like a magic carpet couch.
Right.
He rubbed the lamp.
Magic shotgun and just blow everything 20 feet away.
Yeah, it was awesome.
But yeah, so the basic premise here is he's an undercover cop. You know, he's working in Los Angeles, and he's been tracking this guy named Crisp, who's involved in like all these drug deals and whatnot. And Crisp is ultimately trying to track down his ex-wife and his son, who have run off on him. And, apparently, according to the cops, they think they've run off with $3 million of his money. So that's why they think he's after them, and they're trying to bust Crisp for all this. So they have a witness to this death in the warehouse, this coked out girl who picks him out of a lineup. And so he goes into jail. And basically, it seems like from the interrogation with Arnold, they get kind of intimidated, like, oh, maybe our witness isn't great because she's a junkie. So the better witness would be this ex-wife, who's apparently in Astoria, Oregon, which, Goonies shout out for Astoria there. So that leads Arnold and his new partner, played by Pamela Reed, who's a hypoglycemic, just eating nonstop, and then gets like deathly sick. She's supposed to be this undercover kindergarten teacher where they're going to try to like sniff out the mom and the son. But ultimately, Arnold gets stuck with it because she gets sick, and now he's the kindergarten cop.
Yes. Pamela Reed is amazing in this movie. She's so good in this.
She is so good. She's like the best little sidekick wingman for Arnold.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I remember once I got past my initial disappointment of, man, this isn't like a rated R Arnie movie that I'm getting away with watching. She just won me over immediately. I hadn't watched this since then, so this was my first viewing, and like probably this came out at the end of 1990, so I probably saw it on HBO in 1991. So it had been like 34 years since I had seen it, and this brought back memories, and her throwing up, her physical comedy of her continuously vomiting and looking for places to vomit at the beginning is amazing.
Yeah. And like you pointed out when we watched it, you're out in this like small town, Oregon landscape. They're pulling off on the side of the road. They're staying in these hotels. But yeah, ultimately you're in this little small town, Astoria, and these quaint buildings and all the teachers, all the parents of the kids, all the cute little kids, nice quaint little school, and the classrooms are all, just kind of cozy. Yeah, and then you have Pamela Reed in there, like just being real fun and delightful. Just like you move on from that kind of hard-nosed Terminator vibe into this just very charming, like, small-town comedy, which is fun and light and just, like, engaging with how is Arnold gonna, he can deal with the drug dealers, but he can't deal with these kids, like these 6-year-olds that are gonna eat him alive. And you just get to see Arnold become really warm and play to a lot of his strengths, like beyond just like all his badassery. He's just really funny and does a great job being frustrated, obviously.
Yeah, it's awesome. You can tell that Arnie is a dad watching this when he gets past the point in the movie where the kids are supposed to be annoying to him. He was kind of a new father here. I think he had just had his first child like a year before. And I don't know, man. Arnie as a dad, that just feels like that would be cool. Even if you were his illegitimate son and he didn't find out about you until later in life, it still seems like he's a cool dad.
Yeah, you could really tell like he's enjoying himself with the kids here, which I appreciate. Like, apparently they, despite what you see on screen at first, at least, where he's just like having, meltdowns over all these kids, like being obnoxious. Like, he just had a great time with these kids on set, and they were just like climbing all over him like a big mountain and just having a lot of fun. He wanted to work in like the physical fitness theme. So like, first he had him build like a gym like in town for him to maintain his physique, I guess, but also wanted to like put the physical fitness aspect into the film itself. So you have like these scenes where once he started to kind of figure out how he's going to control this kindergarten class, he like basically brings them to what he calls police school, and he brings in like his police whistle, and they're doing like these marches and chant, like military chants and stuff. And they're doing like all this workout routine stuff. Yeah, all that's just fun to think about. Like Arnold had a say in that for the script itself, to add all that in.
Yeah, it's great. And I was telling you because we broke a general rule of Filmshake, which is a lot of times, and really 99% of the time, we won't watch the main movie together, because when we come together to talk about it for Filmshake, it's a surprise to either one of us as to what the other person's opinion is. But we didn't do that this time because it's Arnie.
Yeah, it's Arnie. Of course, we're going to have a good time.
So we watched this together on VHS, and I was telling you, man, I remember in the late 80s and early 90s in elementary school, the Presidential Fitness Award, Arnie was all over the promotion of that because, physical fitness was his thing. So we did that at my school, and a lot of people, the unathletic people did not enjoy it. They hated it. They were like, I didn't even want to come to school today. I just wanted to check out. But I loved it. It was like, you have to do this many sit-ups and this many push-ups.
As a parent, I appreciate the importance of education, but I also appreciate the value of teaching our children good fitness habits. With all that proven benefit of regular exercise, you can see why physical education is so important to their future. Our children need healthy hearts to grow into healthy adults. So let's be sure that they grow up smart and fit. And if you're still not convinced, I'll be back.
You were inspired by Arnold. We just need cardboard cutouts of Arnold in every classroom. Bring Arnie back, like he says at the end of this movie, to like put a twist on his I'll be back. Speaking of my experience with this movie and Arnold, I don't know if this was the first Arnold movie I saw. It might have been T2, because I feel like I was at that age where T2 had probably come out for a while and it was just everywhere. It was like always on TV, and that may have been my introduction to Arnold. But Kindergarten Cop was definitely in there too, like at the early 90s growing up, and just either seeing it on TV all the time as well, or like rent it from the video store or whatever. It was just like, it's just one of those kind of, I guess you could call it a 4-quadrant movie where it's just like the whole family can sit down and watch this and enjoy it, and like kids can get into it. And yeah, like even though it's not a rated R movie, I was surprised to go back and look. Like I just assumed this was like a PG movie. But then there's quite a bit of violence in it. So I was like, what is this actually rated? I was surprised to see it was actually rated PG-13. I mean, which makes a lot of sense for the content, but it still kind of boggles my mind of like, who is this movie for? But it definitely like works in that four quadrant way where like kids can enjoy it and like dads can enjoy it, and moms can enjoy it, you know, and like the whole family can sit down and like have a good time. And you've got like just enough kind of like action and violence and stuff to appease the older crowd, I'd say. But I don't know, even like some of the kid jokes and stuff where you're like, oh, this is like now a kid's movie, but some of that even like leans more to like adults laughing at kids saying goofy shit, right?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. The kids are funny. I mean, the little short kid whose dad is a gynecologist,
Right.
that was still funny to me now.
Yeah?
Boys have a penis, girls have vagina.
Wow, you taught them the basics.
And I love how he does, like, he's more and more proud of himself each time he does it, to where the last time he does it, he's, like, basically, like, doing an Arsenio Hall, like, hoot, hoot, hoot for himself.
Right. He's, like, pumping his little fist, like, woo!
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Well, what do you think about the villains here? We have Crisp, and then we have his mother, and they're both after young Dominic, his estranged son. And we have Dominic's mother, who's also a teacher at the school. Obviously, these aren't villains. The Crisp and the grandma of the boy are the villains. But yeah, we have all these characters kind of in the mix for who they're after and how they're trying to like kind of crack this case with the undercover cop angle.
Man, he was a ponytail guy. You know, if you're watching a movie in 1990, the guy with the ponytail was always bad.
Is the bad guy immediately, yeah.
Right. Right, unless it's Sasha from Step by Step in a martial arts movie, then it's a bad guy, and he's bad. But he's a total mama's boy, and his mom is just so evil. She's just so wicked. And I'll give my movie connection now, Jordan.
All right.
I have a movie connection. We just did DuckTales, the movie Treasure of the Lost Lamp. This is not directly from the film, but from the TV show DuckTales. The Beagle Boys were often the villain. They were, I don't know if they were in the most episodes as the villain, but I remember them being in the most episodes. I could be wrong. I didn't do the math on that. But the Beagle Boys were nothing without their mother, and that's Ma Beagle. Ma Beagle was driving the whole thing, and this damn lady in this movie, she's like Ma Beagle. She just keeps pushing her son. He's never good enough. He's never evil enough. He's just not doing enough to kidnap his son. He's not murdering enough people to get his son back. He's just not doing a good enough job. And in fact, he might not be doing a good enough job because his health might be affected. And you know what? She might have to buy a rectal thermometer from the pharmacist to check his temperature to make sure that he's doing okay.
Yeah, you definitely get that Munchausen's by proxy vibe from her, where she's just like, you get a little tidbit there where she's buying all this cold medicine, all this stuff for the boy before they've even reunited with him. And Crisp is like, he's not even sick. Like, why do you need all this stuff? And just in case. And he's like, you pumped me full of that shit when I was a kid too, you know, and I wasn't even sick. And then she's like, you weren't sick because I did that. And he just kind of like stares at the clerk like, well, how do you argue with that? So there's
Mama's right again.
Mama's right again. I mean, there's obviously like some tension there, maybe some disdain on his part, but he's definitely like doing all her bidding for her and like fights back a little bit, but ultimately, yeah, she's in charge. Well played bit on the writer's part, you know, to make you kind of even more like dislike this guy because he's just like this mama's boy and he's evil, but his mom's kind of like running the show. So it's really hard to respect him and like that kind of swarmy, not swarmy?
Chicken shawarma?
Smarmy. I'm looking for smarmy. Yeah, he's just kind of smarmy. He's got just that kind of like, I don't know, like underling little vibe
he's
to him.
He's yucky, Jordan.
Yeah, he's yucky.
To bring back a word from the previous
he's
episode.
Yucky, yeah.
Yeah, he's really yucky. They're good villains. It works because on multiple levels. Because if you're a small child, you see him murder someone at the beginning of the movie, so he's kind of scary.
Yeah.
If you're a little older, like, he's just kind of annoying, and you hate him, and you want Arnie to get him.
Yeah.
And then if you're our age, you see the Munchausen by proxy, and, like, he's kind of pitiable and just ridiculous and kind of funny. So it works many different ways.
Yeah, and then there's, like, this whole grasp for control at the end, too, when he sets the school on fire in the library. How dare him. And then, the fire alarm, the smoke, and all the kids are rushing out of the building, and he grabs his son, and just, like, the way that he's talking to his son, he's trying to, like, assert himself and assert, like, I'm your father, and, like, you're gonna have to learn to listen to me. Like, you see just, like, all the bad hallmarks of a dad, and it's just like, okay, like, I hope I'm never, like, that much of an asshole, or, like, you know?
I thought the same thing.
Right.
Because there are parts where it's like, we're both single fathers. It's like, you want to take the dad side in the movie. There's a part of you that does.
Yeah.
And I forgot for a second that he shot somebody at the beginning. And I'm like, oh, this poor guy just wants to see his son. But then he does all this asshole stuff. And it's like, oh, yeah, never mind. This guy sucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Arnie should be this kid's dad.
Yeah. Arnie should be this kid's dad for sure. But there are moments where it's like, oh, this is like a reflection of all dads at their lowest, just like grasping for control in all the wrong ways,
Right.
So yeah, and then there's one part where he just like straight up decks his ex-wife, and then like the son
he punches the hell out of her.
Yeah, he just decks her, knocks her out, and he's like, I didn't mean to do it, she made me do it, and just like all the kind of like excuses, like just a bad dad would make in that kind of scenario. I'm just like, this just feels too real,
Yeah, it's crazy. Now that you bring that up, I know it was important for Arnie because he had serious daddy issues. His dad was literally a Nazi in the German army in World War II.
Jeez.
And he apparently, he didn't treat Arnie too well when Arnie was a little boy. So Arnie has some daddy issues, and he said to the director, Ivan Reitman, who you may have heard of this guy before. He's done some other movies besides Kindergarten Cop that you might have heard of.
Like,
just some small things.
Was that movie like Ghostbusters or something?
Yeah, like Ghostbusters, maybe. Little things like that.
Yeah.
They had a discussion where he was like, I need broken families in this movie. Like, I don't want to see like a bunch of perfect families, like the fathers have to be like bears. He says bear at one point in this movie, and I don't, we almost died.
Yeah.
How did he say it?
Bears. I'm pretty sure like 90% of this movie was on the Arnold soundboards that we used to use, like prank calling people in the early 2000s. You'd go to like E-Bombs World or something online and have this soundboard of just like all these Arnold quotes. I remember we called our buddy John Peterson's dad and like messed with him, just like all the stuff, like 90% of the stuff was from Kindergarten Cop, just it's not a tumor. Who's your daddy? What does he do? Like, all this stuff. Watching it was just like, I can almost not even separate those two things. Like watching this movie, I can hear like those sound bites like coming out of the computer as I'm watching this movie.
Yes. There's so many great quotes in this film. It's like nonstop great quotes. And Jordan, there's so much we haven't talked about as far as the pedigree of this film. The director, this is Ivan Reitman. The cinematographer is Michael Chapman.
Yeah.
So this is Kindergarten Cop. Michael Chapman was a cinematographer for Taxi Driver.
Yeah.
The 1978 Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Raging Bull.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Lost Boys.
Very accomplished man.
Right. Which The Lost Boys is very different from those other movies I mentioned, but a cult classic that is just one of the most enjoyable movies. Or The Fugitive, which looks great. One of the best 90s movies we've covered. One of the best 90s movies, period.
Yeah.
So this movie looks pretty damn good. Also, Short Circuit, I should mention. The first Short Circuit was filmed in Astoria as well.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I didn't realize that.
So, beautiful area here that he's obviously enjoying shooting. You've got Randy Edelman doing the score here, who did the theme song for MacGyver and also did the score for Anaconda a few years later.
I know you love that. The MacGyver connection.
And then, Jordan, I have to get into this. So the love interest for Arnie here is another one of the teachers, played by Penelope Ann Miller, who just happens to be the mother of the little boy, ex-wife of the bad guy, Ponytail Guy, which, God, Jordan, like, it grossed me out to think about her and Ponytail Guy doing it. Like, it grossed me out, because he called his mom after, and he was like, Mom, I had sex.
I finally did it, Mom. Aren't you proud? I'm going to make you a grandbaby.
Yeah, there's a weird Oedipal thing there for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
I think they only had sex once and they produced his kid. But
that's when she ran away.
Right. I don't want to slander Arnie. I don't know what was going on in his personal life, but man, it felt like he and Penelope Ann Miller were banging when they made this movie, because their chemistry is crazy. The way she's looking at him in every single scene, except when they kind of fight a little bit, but even in that too.
Yeah.
It's insane, man. The eyes that she's giving him, like, if any woman ever looks at me like that, I might die. I might just be like, oh, that's what that feels like, and then that'll be it. Like, I'll just
You'll have the final stroke.
Right.
Be struck dead.
I'll be struck dead.
No, yeah, she's looking very wistful at Arnie, just very longingly. Their chemistry, yeah, like you said, is off the charts. She's just kind of edging closer to him in every moment. You can tell she just, really wants Arnold. And then I like the scene where she basically leaves her class and comes into his classroom. All the kids are napping. And I guess she found that out, like, oh, you got them all napping. But her plan was still to come in and ask him to dinner, like in the middle of the class. Cause, I guess she was that infatuated. Rubs the little milk mustache off his face. Like, they're so cute together. It's so fun.
Yeah, I think that she and Arnie, because you don't really think of Arnie as a romantic lead in just about anything.
Yeah.
Or him really, like, I mean, like, just because we've gone there in every episode recently, I don't like to imagine Arnie having sex, like the grunting noises he probably makes.
No.
I don't want to do it, but,
give it to me, baby.
Yeah, exactly like that. Exactly like that.
He could have been in that Offspring song.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty fly for a white guy. That's actually just samples of Arnie having sex.
Pretty fly for an Austrian guy.
Yeah, right. Ironically, Weird Al did a version of that song called Pretty Fly for a Rabbi. But, great chemistry, incredible chemistry. I've never seen anyone have chemistry with Arnie like Penelope Ann Miller does. And maybe they just had great chemistry and she's a great actress. And they weren't doing it behind the scenes. But man, their chemistry was good, man. It was really good.
Yeah. He definitely sells it as a romantic lead here. It works, like, every angle of this really works and is just entertaining and fun and enjoyable. And I feel like Kindergarten Cop, just by like the nature of the premise, you're just like, oh, that's dumb, right? Like, that's not prestigious cinema. Like, at one point there was a Criterion Collection, like, fake joke that, this was going to be added to the Criterion Collection that, like, helps preserve important cinema and stuff. So you'd have people, like, making these fake covers for Criterion films, but, like, for films that obviously, like, don't meet those standards. And so, like, Kindergarten Cop is kind of thrown around as a joke in that way of, like, oh, this ridiculous Schwarzenegger movie where he's like a kindergarten teacher, but, like, it's still just like a well done movie. Like, I'd still say it's like a good movie. It's not even like, oh, so bad it's funny or anything like that. It's just like, oh, like, this is just well put together, and the comedy works, and, like, the romantic angle works, and the action stuff works. Like, it's just fun and good. Like, it's just a blockbuster, popcorn, fun, entertaining movie. I'd take it on its own terms for sure.
Right. I don't think it's a great film, but it's definitely a good one. And to be honest, Jordan, you know how much I hate elitism. I hate award shows. I hate popularity and talent contests. I'm not going to lie. I remember when Criterion did that, and that greatly lowered my estimation of them, to be honest.
Did they do that though, or was that just like fans? Did they put that out as like an April Fool's joke? Or
I thought it was them doing it as an April Fool's joke. You know what?
Maybe.
Listeners, I'm going to use the magic of the internet and editing here to edit out me Googling this to see if Criterion did this or not. Yeah, it was Criterion.
Okay.
It was Criterion doing a prank. And I remember just thinking, you dumb bastards did a Criterion edition version of Armageddon.
Right.
Like Michael Bay's Armageddon.
Right.
And not like after the fact when people were like, you know what, I think Michael Bay is an auteur.
Right.
It was right after Armageddon was released. My mom got it for me as a high school graduation present.
It's a money grab on their part, which is fine. You know, they're a business. They got to stay afloat. Like, I love Criterion. No shade on them, but
well, shade from me. Shade from me. You
shade
think,
from
you
you
think
for
your
their
shit doesn't stink Criterion?
For their Criterion Cop
you.
prank.
Oh, look at the Criterion closet where all the cool kids go. I don't like the cool kids. Fuck you, Criterion. You suck.
You're just mad because like all the people that kicked us off the film network were Criterion nerds.
Bunch of fucking nerds. I'm gonna swirl your head in the toilet after I get my Presidential Fitness Award medal. Dorks.
I still love Criterion. I think they do a great job. I always look forward to see what they're putting out.
I legitimately don't give a shit. I never think about them. I hadn't thought about them in so long up until this point. I just watch whatever the hell I want.
You're just like offended by like the sense of like, we're curating the you know, what is great cinema, and you're like, fuck that, I'll decide what is great cinema.
Yeah, and then make fun of Kindergarten Cop when you gave Armageddon.
I mean, it's still like tongue in cheek, whatever. Like, I'm fine with it. But yeah, like, still, like, all that to say, I like Kindergarten Cop. Like, it's a fun movie. Like I said, it's not great, but it's good. Like, and I wouldn't throw any shade at it. Like, I love Arnold, like anything that he's in. Like, this is just like, I don't know, I wouldn't say this is necessarily peak Arnold, but this is like 1990 Arnold that has like a very dear place in my heart. And it definitely is the start of him like leaning more and more into the family stuff, which I think he works just as well in as he does the action. So, I mean, I wouldn't say I prefer the family Arnold, but like, I'm super glad that both of those things exist, right? And that he has that much charisma to carry either kind of vehicle.
Right, for sure. And it's kind of nuts that he was making Terminator 2 Judgment Day at the same time as this. Right. Like, that came out the next year.
Yeah, that is wild.
Such a huge, massive, muscular action film. But I mean, I'm with you. And I think Arnie can do just about anything except I think we decided watching
he can't cry.
End of Days. He can't cry. Like, you can't push him into that dramatic place. Jean-Claude Van Damme, he can do it.
He can cry. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. He doesn't have the charisma of a Schwarzenegger, but he can cry.
Maybe there's an Arnold movie out there where he has a scene and he cries and it works, but End of Days was not it.
No, I like whenever he threw his Chinese food in the blender with like a beer and like some old cheese.
Of course.
And maybe a shoelace.
Yes. A piece of pizza off the floor.
Man, that's a weird movie. That was weird.
We just need a little bit more of that in Kindergarten Cop and we're good.
And it's a 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. Well, any other thoughts on this movie before we give our ratings?
Yeah, what we just talked about just reminded me of the chef fiance of Pamela Reed's character, which is a great little character. There's a bunch of little characters in this movie that are only in it for a minute or two, but what'd you think about him?
Yeah, I mean, that scene of him bumbling around in the hotel room when Arnie is he like kind of busts in the hotel thinking somebody is after his partner. He hears these noises and then kind of busts in on them fooling around in bed. And then the fiance like goes into the bathroom, knocks over a lamp, comes out with like a little pink frilly bathrobe on. And like that image in itself, like it's always kind of been burned into my head, like that pink bathrobe and Arnold just like looking disgusted at this guy. But yeah, and then like at the end, like Arnold's been shot and he's in the hospital and like the fiance comes in and like immediately just starts knocking shit over and like messes up Arnold's leg that's in a sling and stuff. But yeah, like that is like fun little side character, small bit parts like that round this movie out. Like you've got the principal, Miss Schlotz. Is it like how do you say her name? Schlotsky or something like that? Shabatsky?
Yeah, I liked how you said that. That was nice.
Schlotsky.
Schlowski, I think is what it is. Played by Linda Hunt, which, by the way, it was Bob Nelson played Pamela Reed's goofy significant other.
Bob Nelson. Yeah, and you got Linda Hunt, like a Academy Award, nominee or winner, either way. She's great in this, is the kind of no-nonsense principal, but then gets really excited when Arnold beats up this dad who's been like beating his wife and kid. That was a fun scene with her.
Though, like how we were trying to figure out logically what was going on there, and it didn't really make a lot of sense.
What was that?
Where it's like, Arnie just assaulted the guy, and now he's going to call the cops on him.
Right. He's like, I'm going to press charges. I'm like, how does that make sense? It's the same amount of sense of like when the evil mother kills like the junkie witness, then the bad guy goes free from jail. Like, how does that make sense? Like, oh, we lost our good witness. I guess we have to let this guy go free without going through a trial. Is that how that works? I'm not quite sure that makes any sense, but okay.
Right. Oh, I don't know. And the other thing I wanted to say was when you and I were watching this and they had the brief scene in the plane early in the film, and I said, that stewardess looked like Angela Bassett. It was Angela Bassett in her second ever film role, and it just reminded me that those two Bryan Singer X-Men films, regardless of my opinion of Bryan Singer as a human being, I really love those two movies.
Yeah.
But one point of contention for me with those is Halle Berry's line delivery as Storm sometimes is not great.
No.
And I always thought Angela Bassett, no shade against Halle Berry, but she was just not a great action star around then. She tried to do that Catwoman movie a few years later. I don't think that she had action down until she did the third John Wick movie in 2019. But I think if Angela Bassett had played Storm in those X-Men movies, she would have been badass. That's always like, I know there is an alternate dimension somewhere where Angela Bassett played Storm instead.
Well, to be fair to Halle Berry, she did have like one of the worst one-liners or punchlines in probably film history when she says the line to Toad about like what happens to a toad that's struck by lightning or whatever it is.
Do you know what happens to a toad when it's struck by lightning? The same thing that happens to everything else.
It's so bad.
I hate that Joss Whedon, who wrote the line, tried to throw her under the bus later. Because I agree with you, and I think Halle Berry is a good actress. But she did deliver that line terribly. But it's also a terrible line.
Yeah, it's like a terrible line with terrible delivery.
Right. And he tried to throw her under the bus, and he was like, the way she was supposed to say it was, you know what happens when you get struck by lightning and you're a toad? The same thing as everything else. Like he says it a certain way, and it's like, that's not better, dude. Like, it doesn't make the line good.
But that's not any better. Yeah. Either way, yeah, she's in this movie. You remind me she's on the plane there. Later we see Arnold come into Astoria, and apparently he has a ferret in his luggage. I guess this ferret's just been like chilling like in his luggage throughout the whole plane ride. Cause the ferret pops out and scares Pamela Reed, and he's like, oh no, the ferret, it never bites. And then like he later uses it to calm down all the kids in the classroom on his first day. And he's like, no, the ferret, it never bites. And then like the climax of this movie is literally the bad guy's he's abducted his son. They're like in the shower at the school and things are on fire. And he's like already shot Arnold and he's about to shoot him again. But then the ferret pops out of the little boy's sweater and bites the bad guy on the neck. So then Arnold could like roll over, grab his gun and shoot him and kill him. So like the ferret, what did you call it? Like Chekhov's smoking
ferret.
Chekhov's ferret. Yeah. It's like, it never bites, but like that. Yeah. That's the climax of the movie. literally saves the day biting the bad guy.
Yeah, it was like, this gross guy has an Oedipal complex.
I'm gonna
bite his
bite him.
ass.
Yeah. We also have to talk about the mom coming in. Arnold gets like shot. What? He gets shot in the leg and then he gets shot in the shoulder.
Arnie takes some of the worst damage she does in any film in Kindergarten Cop.
Kindergarten Cop, which is surprising. The mom comes in. She's like already run over his partner, Pamela Reed, with her car as she was like trying to get into the building. It's like the fireman won't let her in. So she's like going around the back. The mom sees her and like runs over the car. And then she's about to shoot Arnie. And then we got Pamela Reed coming out of nowhere with this like Louisville slugger, just like beats the shit out of this old lady. And it's so satisfying. She just like hits her like twice. And then this lady's just like knocked out, like concussion to the shower wall. It's very satisfying. And then her great one-liner, "You're not so tough without your car."
Yeah, it's pretty great because she took a pretty hard hit with the car right before that.
Yeah. She got like a broken leg later.
Yeah, she gets beat up too. Her and Arnie are really roughed up by the end of this.
Yeah, which like Arnie, reading through the trivia, Arnie, I guess, I don't know if he was disappointed. The performance of this, I guess, could have been better at the box office. I mean, it was still like in the top 10, I think, for movies of that year, but Home Alone was just like a unprecedented hit, like, week after week. And
yeah, this came out that December with Home Alone, like right after Home Alone.
Yeah, so that obviously stole a lot of its thunder. But, it still did decent, I think.
It made over $200 million in 1990, and it's Kindergarten Cop. I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
On a budget of $26 million.
I don't know if Arnold kind of, like, regretted some of the violence in the film and, like, later, like, wanting to do more family-friendly stuff to where, like, I think he had said, like, oh, this movie could have made $25 million more if, like, without all the violence in it. But I think Ivan Reitman was right to say, well, really without like this big kind of climax or showdown, like what are we going to do? Like this film's just kind of going to peter out if we don't have that, which it works. Like it's a great climax. It's really thrilling. You're scared for the boy. You're in this kind of scary situation with this crazy dad. You also have that whole tower scene where like the mom is trying to like run from the bad guys and the son decides to go like put his lasers to protect them on this telephone tower and like almost falls and dies and Arnie's got to save him.
Yeah, which I told you the initial shot of that tower in the distance stuck with me more than anything else from the movie in the 34 years since I'd last seen it. I think maybe because my grandfather, there was always a legend that he climbed the Morganza water tower. So anytime I see a tower like that, I'm like, man, I should climb it like my grandfather did. But now that they're all surrounded by barbed wire fences, so it's kind of tough.
It's kind of lame. No, that was definitely an indelible image in my head too, watching this, where like in my mind, that was the climax of the movie. Like this boy climbing up this really tall tower and like almost falling and having to be saved. But it's really like a minute out of this movie. It's really quick. It's solved like fairly easily. But as a kid, it was like this huge thing. And I remember seeing one of those towers like off in the distance near my neighborhood. And it always like kind of stuck with me like, oh, I should like go climb that. Like you. It's like I'm enticed now, even though this child almost died.
Yeah, right. And I like how the scene employs another animal like Chekhov's owl, because when you see the tower earlier, there's owls flying around, and then when the kid's trying to climb it, an owl flies by and knocks him down, and Arnie has to save him. I don't know why there's a swarm of owls. It's like a wasp nest up there with owls. It's weird. I'm into it, though.
So many animal attacks in this movie.
Yeah, it's a kid's movie, right?
Yeah, it's got everything you need. Animal attacks, romance, Arnold. Yeah, good stuff. What would be your score for this, sir?
Anal thermometers.
Munchausen's by proxy. Like, you got it all.
Right. Child abuse.
Child abuse.
Divorce. My dad lives in France.
There is a lot of kids talking about their divorced parents in this.
The nihilistic kid.
Yeah, he's like, oh, we're all going to die. Which I forgot, like, you know, it's not a tumor is like such a quotable line from this, but I forgot it was because of this kid who's like always talking about death. And Arnold's like, I have a headache. And he's like, it might be a tumor. Because he's just always talking about like something bad happening.
Yeah. But to answer your question, I'll give this a very strong 7 out of 10, just like I gave DuckTales. Nice. I don't think it's like a great film, but it's a very enjoyable and entertaining film. It's a mostly light film. It does get surprisingly violent and heavy a few times to Arnold's chagrin, but I think that the movie needs it. It doesn't destroy the tone.
Yeah.
We're only scared like really small children. I mean, obviously, you know, when I watched this when I was around 10, like I was disappointed that there wasn't like giant blood explosions and boobs and F-bombs. So you don't get any of that. It's definitely a family film. It's a strong 7 out of 10.
Would you like to see an R-rated version of this?
Mash this with Maniac Cop 2.
Right. Or like the other film I suggested, Class of 1999, which is like killer robot teachers. So you get all that schlock there. I'm guessing. I haven't gone and watched that film yet. Or just watch The Substitute, I guess.
Yeah, that's right. Class of 1999 too, which was recommended to us by a good friend of ours and listener on X. He's a veteran of the Cola Wars, and he recommended that at some point we cover Class of 99 too. So one day we'll have to cover it as a punishment.
Part 2, Class of 99, Part 2.
He specifically said Part 2.
Well, yeah, now we have to watch Class of 1984, Class of 1999, and Class of 99, Part 2.
It's so confusing. Why do they make it that way?
So many punishments and so many numbers. All right, yes. Sir.
Sergeant Zombie, that was his recommendation. What was your score? Did you give it? Did I miss it?
I didn't give my score, yeah. I'd give this a solid 4 out of 5. Yeah, really.
Sweet.
Really solid. Really love this movie. Definitely super rewatchable, too, because I didn't mention I was like going through some of these recorded off of TV VHS tapes I had. And I had one tape that just had a bunch of movies on it, and I was fast forwarding through it, and I was like, oh, here's Kindergarten Cop with like commercials in between it. And I just put it on. He was like, oh, let me see how the quality looks and everything. I put it on and like just couldn't stop watching it. I was like, okay, I'm sucked in. Like I got to watch this whole thing now. And then, you know, got the actual VHS tape and watched it with you and had just as much fun. And that was only like maybe a month or two later.
That's awesome. It's Arnie.
It's Arnie. Good stuff. All right, sir. Are you ready for the trivia battle?
Pop quiz, asshole.
Yes, I am. Did you write questions this time?
Hold on. I'm getting some interference here. What's happening?
Hello. Hi. Hello. Wake up, you drunk fuck. Who is it this time?
Did you bring the Arnie soundboard back?
How are you doing, old buddy?
Am I going to have to guess Arnie quotes again?
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately. What the hell is going on? You should not drink and bake.
Okay, I think I lost Arnie there. He said he had to call us back. Arnie, yeah, where'd you go? Oh yeah, I lost him, man. But I'm pretty sure you lost at trivia. You didn't answer any of his questions.
So wait, I thought that you were going to play Arnie clips and I was going to have to guess them. But was that just a stall because you don't have any questions?
Pretty much.
You son of a bitch.
But he had questions for you, like, how are you and what the fuck is going on and where's your mother? And like, what is your real name? You didn't answer any of those questions. Those were the trivia questions.
Oh, those were the
trivia questions. But anyway, I'm assuming you have questions, so maybe we can just do that now.
Yeah, the next episode is our 100th episode. Of course I wrote questions.
Of course I didn't. I've got to like keep the tradition going.
Which means that you're definitely watching the punishment film.
Of course.
No matter if you get every single one of these right.
Okay, I deserve it.
You should get 4 out of 5 of these right.
Okay.
4 out of 5 of these. All of these questions have to do with school.
Okay.
They're all about school movies because we just covered Kindergarten Cop.
No!
Okay. All right. Sorry, Arnie. I was sorry. He caught me trying to eat a cookie.
Oh, damn it. All right. No more stalling. Here we go. Who starred in 2006's Half Nelson as a coke-snorting middle school teacher? Was it A. Ryan Gosling, B. Ryan Reynolds, C. Jason Sudeikis, or D. Will Forte?
Is it Gosling?
It's Gosling.
Nice.
You're 1 for 1. It's a pretty good movie.
Never saw it.
Pretty good. He's good in it.
All right.
Number 2. This comedian starred in the 1986 hit comedy Back to School. This was a favorite of mine back in the day. Used to watch it with my old man. Is it A. Don Rickles, B. George Carlin, C. Rodney Dangerfield, or D. Richard Pryor?
I believe it was Rodney Dangerfield.
That is correct. 2 for 2.
Nice.
Number 3. Which major TV producer co-wrote the screenplay to 1992 School Ties? Was it A. David E. Kelly, B. Joss Whedon, C. David Chase, or D. Dick Wolf?
Dick Wolf?
Correct. 3 for 3.
Nice.
What actor plays opposite Melissa Joan Hart in 1999's Drive Me Crazy? Was it A. Adrian Grenier, B. Ryan Philippe, C. Hayden Christensen, or D. Dave Franco?
What was A?
Adrian Grenier.
That one.
You're on fire. 4 out of 4. This has never happened before in the history of Filmshake. To quote Hayden Christensen, sort of. All right. This is it, Jordan. There are no choices for number 5, but if you get it wrong, I'm gonna get Arnie to kick you in the balls.
All right.
Which director that you like a lot directed 2003's School of Rock?
Oh, Richard Linklater.
5 out of 5!
What?
5 out of 5. I can't believe this.
I think
Especially
this is...
after you pulled that annoying Arnie stunt. You got 5 out of 5. It's like he gave you asshole
gave me
strength.
power. I think this is only happening because it's our 100th episode next.
That's right. It's got to be. It's got to be, Jordan. It's our 100th episode. You know, some people might have said, why? You should have just covered Congo again for your 100th episode. And, you know, if we weren't doing 1990 movies, maybe we would have. But thanks. For me, we're not doing Congo again. That's such a great episode.
So fun.
That was like more torment for me than your dumb Arnie soundboard making me watch Congo. So many people love Congo. People love Congo.
I
Jordan.
love Congo.
Yeah, you're one of those people.
I'm one.
Basically, everyone loves it but me. I don't get it. It was like critically panned at the time. Everyone was like, this sucks. This is the dumbest movie. And I was like, no, it's even worse than that. It's even dumber than dumb. And everyone loves it now. It's like, what? It's so stupid.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
Had to be a contrarian. You just had to go against the grain.
I guess. Well, Jordan, you know, you might think our punishment movie is dumb. A lot of people do. Or you might like it. I don't know. It's got a lot of kid stars from the early 90s and the late 80s. And this is going to be our Halloween episode. This is coming out in mid-October. So I'm going with horror movies here. But the first one is kind of for the smaller folks. You know, we just did Kindergarten Cop. So how about a horror movie for kids, Jordan, for the punishment? That's 1990's The Willies.
The Willies. All right.
Have you ever seen The Willies, Jordan?
I have not, and I'm pretty sure this is going to be hard as fuck to track down on VHS. So thank you so much.
It was straight to video, just like Maniac Cop 2.
Yeah.
And it's streaming on Tubi.
Nice.
Now, let's see. The Willies VHS.
You're looking up the price
for sale
for me.
online. Let's see. Yeah, sorry, Jordan. Sorry, I haven't been taking that into account when I've been picking my punishments.
I have.
Oh, wait, look, there's a copy for like $16, but it's on Etsy, so I think somebody made this.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Because all the other copies that I'm seeing are going for way more than that.
How much are they going for?
3 figures.
Oh, Jesus.
3 figures, and they don't start with 1.
Oh, damn it.
Here's a Willie Nelson special VHS. You could get that and just put an S at the end of his first name and scratch out his second name.
I think I'm going to be making a bootleg copy. Oh, well.
All right. Well, I don't think you'll have as much trouble finding the VHS for our main movie, Jordan. This is a movie a lot of people say is the best horror film of the 90s. And it might be. It's quite good, or at least I thought so. The last time I watched it was probably about 25 years ago. And that is 1990's Jacob's Ladder.
Oh, nice. I have some podcast history with this particular film. I've never seen it, but I don't know if some listeners know. Before we started Filmshake, I was on a different podcast with some friends, Film Yak, and I was told to watch this movie. And at the time, I felt like it would be too disturbing for me. I don't know. This was many years back. I feel like I've definitely loosened my grip on like enjoying darker content. But yeah, I never watched this film, but I almost had to for the podcast back then. So fun. Yeah.
Right.
Full circle.
Yes, and it has the best connection to Kindergarten Cop. I just absolutely love the connection for it. So I remember loving this movie back in the day. You know my cousin Rhett well. This was one of his favorites. He got me to watch this back in the day. He could not stop hyping it up. And sometimes, someone will overhype a movie, but I watched it and I was like, yeah, that actually was pretty damn good. But it's been 25 years. Who knows? Maybe Tim Robbins is not as good as it used to be. Maybe director Adrian Lyne, who is also known for such films as Flashdance, which watched recently. I love Flashdance. I don't give a damn what Criterion says about Flashdance. I love that movie, man. I love Jennifer Beals in that movie. Think she's fine as hell in that movie. I love her dancing. Great movie.
Going off of a Flashdance tangent.
Right. He also did Fatal Attraction and Decent Proposal.
Those aren't familiar. What is Jacob's Ladder about?
He did a lot of sexy movies. Jacob's Ladder, I don't want to give it away. It's a horror film. It's about a guy named Jacob who, let's just say that he's seeing some things, Jordan. Yeah. He is a Vietnam vet and he's seeing things.
Gotcha.
And that's all I'll say. I'll leave the rest up to the viewer. There's a lot of really disturbing imagery in this film. There's a lot of what's really happening and what's not really happening.
Yeah.
If you like horror films, you'll probably dig this. If you get creeped out easily, you probably won't dig this.
Gotcha. Well, that's our next episode then. We'll be watching The Willies and Jacob's Ladder. What a pair. All right. That's for episode 100. Can you believe it? That'll be fun.
It's crazy. Yeah, I'm hoping that I've picked a good one. Sometimes we'll pick a movie that is bad, awesome. Sometimes we'll pick a movie that's awesome. And we do that sometimes. And hopefully this is one of those cases where it holds up.
Gotcha. Yeah, hopefully so. Well, thank you guys for listening. We appreciate you following along, supporting us. If you have any comments, you can reach us at filmshakepodcast@gmail.com. You can reach us on Facebook and X at 90s Movies Pod. And as always, we'll catch you next time for more Filmshake.
Take it easy. Sorry.
Wait, hold on. I think Arnie had one more thing he wanted to say.
I've only one more question.
What's that?
Who is your daddy and what does he do?
Are you gonna answer the man?
Do I have to? Do I have to answer him?
I mean, it's a simple question.
All right, I'm gonna go from Congo, and I'm just gonna say Amy Good Gorilla.
That's your daddy, and that's what he does?
And then I'm going to quote that episode, and I'm going to say, Amy, want night tickle.
Nice.